A missile attack was launched in the Rostov region of Russia. Local Telegram channels reported on this. It is noted that on the night of August 21, units of the Ukrainian Navy, in coordination with other defense forces components, struck an S-300 anti-aircraft missile system near the town of Novoshakhtinsk in Russia's Rostov region, citing the Ukrainian General Staff. The military confirmed that explosions were observed at the target locations, and the accuracy of the strikes is currently being further assessed. Russian forces frequently use S-300 systems not only for air defense but also to attack civilian cities in Ukraine, leading to the destruction of residential buildings and terrorizing the civilian population.
Russian propagandists are starting to flee occupied Crimea, fearing for their lives. Local Z writer Platon Bezedin stated in his Telegram channel that informed sources are recommending that he leave Sevastopol since the city is expecting big and difficult events in the near future. Bezedin hints that war-related events will cover Sevastopol. The propagandist did not directly state what exactly will happen in the near future, but in the comments under his post, people are seriously worried. Bezedin claims that the Russian occupation administration will not be able to help the civilian population, so they better take care of themselves. But I will say, dear Sevastopol and Crimean residents, take care of yourselves, please. Take care, especially now. And remember, the situation, unfortunately, has been developing for a long time now in such a way that only you can help yourself. But also remember about your neighbors and loved ones. The city is on the eve of big and difficult events. Strength to all. We are on the eve, he writes. The occupied peninsula has been repeatedly targeted by Ukrainian drone and naval strikes, forcing Russian forces to withdraw much of its naval power and strengthen its air defenses. Ukraine is making it increasingly difficult for Russia to hang on to illegally annexed Crimea, thanks to an ongoing campaign that's targeting air defenses, rail links and water connections. The peninsula's air defenses have also been degraded with constant attack. Russian Federation occupying authorities in Crimea have consistently suppressed freedom of expression, including by members of minority cultures and identities, and severely curtailed the freedom of religion of minority groups, particularly those opposing official narratives, most notably the Mejlis. The space for civil society to operate, criticize or advocate has considerably shrunk. Media outlets have been shut down, disproportionately affecting Crimean Tatar and Ukrainian communities, their rights to freedom of expression and access to information, and to enjoy and maintain their own cultures and identities. The lack of significant resistance to Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region may indicate that Russian elites are signaling to Putin that the war is over. This opinion was expressed in a commentary to the BBC by Mikhailo Bosyakiw, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center. According to him, the slow reaction to the Ukrainian invasion may indicate hints of disobedience. Ukrainian troops have broken through where there should have been highly effective barriers. You don't see much resistance from the population and law enforcement. There were no reports of shots fired from any police station. I think that such a slow reaction from the security forces, if this is true, may indicate that the generals and the FSB are telling Putin, enough, added Bosyakiw. Russian generals are also worried about the lack of soldiers. Ivan Tymochko, the head of the Council of Reservists of the Ground Forces of Ukraine, says that Russia may need up to 100,000 personnel to drive the Ukrainian armed forces out of the Kursk region. To stop the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region, Russia would need to deploy tens of thousands of troops. To build a quality defense and halt our forces, they need between 50,000 and 100,000 personnel, specifically from line brigades and units, not the mixed forces they had there, said Tymochko. He noted that to repel the Ukrainian advance, Russia needs to deploy line brigades and units in the Kursk region, infantry and paratroopers. However, the Russian army must first establish logistics to set up weapon depots and establish food, fuel and ammunition supplies. I'm not even talking about a simultaneous Russian offensive to push our troops back. It's complex and will take a lot of time, but this will also depend on the local population and how ready they are to resist. Currently, we see that they are not at all inclined to resist the Ukrainian armed forces. So, Putin will have to rely solely on the military, which will force him to change his war strategy, he said. According to Timochko, Russia needs a different type of warfare in the Kursk region, mobile warfare. This requires a lot of equipment, and even the units currently facing the Ukrainian armed forces are only 30 to 40% equipped. The rest is on the front line in Ukraine, he noted.